If true crime intrigues you, you're in the right place. Subscribe and follow Left Undone for detailed and interesting podcasts while we explore the current cases shaking the news. This season, Season 1 of Left Undone, we're exploring the Lori Vallow case. Lori Vallow is a mom who won't tell anyone where her children are. Unfortunately, not only are her children missing, but people are dying all around Lori. And interestingly enough, you can go back about 10 years, and there have been mysterious deaths that surround Lori Vallow. Lori Vallow Daybell is involved in a cult. They claim to be Mormon LDS. However, they are an offshoot. They have secret meetings, and they believe in things that are not in line with the teachings of the LDS Church. Welcome to an episode of Left Undone. This is part 37. Lori Vallow, Chad, and Alex visit the storage unit. Enhanced video by Nate with East Idaho News has helped a lot. We've connected some dots. Welcome to an episode of Left Undone, Incomplete Investigations. I'm Catherine. So let's just get right to this. Today, I'm not doing a live, but I did want to bring you some of the news that has come out today. And one of the big things is the enhanced video that Nate has released on East Idaho News, which is really a big deal, I think. I don't know how you all feel, but I think Chad is going down. This looks highly suspicious to me, and it makes a whole lot of sense now when things come full circle. Now remember, Brandon Bordeaux was shot at by someone out of the back of a Jeep, right? The Jeep was later found to be registered to Charles. Okay, so watching this video, Nate makes some really good points. And how do they know that this Jeep was registered to Charles? And it was the car that Tylee usually would drive. But now Tylee's been missing. Tylee last seen September 8th. Remember that. So this video takes place in October. The shooting took place on October 2nd. We've talked before about Alex being able to be in Arizona, but also at the storage facility in Rexburg that same day. So it made everything confusing. And then Melanie Bordeaux-Pawlowski made a comment that Alex couldn't have been the shooter because he was seen at the storage unit in Rexburg. Watch this.
I'm Nate Eaton, and we are getting a closer look at surveillance footage from Self-Storage Plus in Rexburg. This is the facility where Lori Vallow went on October 1st to rent a storage unit, and inside she placed some very personal belongings, such as children's bikes, scooters, also some photo albums, and blankets with pictures of her children, JJ and Tylee. Lori and sometimes two men visited the facility 9 times in October and 1 time in November. The big question is what happened on October 2nd. We know that Lori rented the unit by herself the day before on the 1st, but on October 2nd, she came in her blue Nissan Rogue with a man we originally thought was Alex Cox, her brother. But a closer look of enhanced high-quality video shows it likely was not Alex. In fact, it appears to be Chad Daybell, based on the way he walks, looks, and comparing his mannerisms to other video we have of him. Let me walk you through this. The blue Rogue arrives at 2:25. You can see the timestamp says 1:25, but that's because the clocks were off, according to the facility. Lori is driving the Rogue and makes her way to the door of the building where her unit is. She gets out 2 minutes later at 2:27 with the man we believe is Chad. At 2:29, he pulls a tire out of the back of the Rogue and rolls it into the storage unit. Then 1 minute later, he and Lori both carry in together what appears to be a removable car seat. They put it in the locker, shut the door, and leave the facility at 2:32. Their entire visit is just 7 minutes. So why does this matter? Well, that same day, Brandon Bordeaux says that he was shot at in Gilbert, Arizona around 9:30 that morning while coming home from the gym. Brandon had been married to Melanie, Lori's niece, and he had a very large life insurance policy and assets totaling over $1 million. Months earlier, Melanie began spending a lot of time with Lori and her religious group. Then Melanie suddenly demanded a divorce from Brandon. The bullet missed his head by inches, and police say the person who shot at him was driving a Jeep registered to Charles Vallow. Charles had been dead for nearly 3 months at this point, and Tylee Ryan regularly drove that Jeep, but she had been missing for more than a month at this point. Now, if you're familiar with Jeeps, you know that many models have spare tires on the back, and if they are in place, the back window does not open. But if they are removed, that window does open. So it's possible that the Jeep used in that shooting had the tire removed, and that tire could have been placed into the storage unit along with the back seat of the Jeep. We would ask Alex Cox if that was the case, but we can't because he's dead, and police are not commenting. But if Cox was not in Rexburg, it's possible he was in Arizona, inside Charles Vallow's Jeep. The next day, back in Rexburg, Lori returns to the storage facility with another man who we believe is Alex. They were there for 3 minutes. You can see them entering, working their way to the same door she was at the day before, and going into the building. Compared to the guy from the day before, this man walks differently and carries the tire out rather than rolling it. The man we think is Cox also carries out the car seat by himself without any help from Lori. Originally, we thought this was a tote with something hanging over the end, but this higher quality video shows that it appears it's actually a vehicle seat, and Lori and Alex are likely taking it away. 3 days later, on October 6th, Alex returns to the storage unit by himself in his silver pickup and comes 5 other times that month, including a visit on October 28th with a man who appears to be Chad Daybell. They stay 6 minutes and wheel in bikes and other items. The last time anyone visits the storage locker is November 24th. Lori and Chad stay for 4 minutes and drop off this Home Depot box and a tote, leaving belongings of JJ and Tylee never to return. Police have now seized all of the items that were inside of that storage unit, along with the Jeep that was used in the shooting of Brandon. I'm Nate Eaton for EastIdahoNews.com.
Okay, so that's really interesting. So I'm going to go back over the timeline. So just to go back just a little bit further, September 6th, there is a picture of Tylee and JJ playing. Neighbors had taken a picture of them playing in the Greenbelt area at the apartments in Rexburg. September 8th was the last time anybody has any record of Tylee, where the Yellowstone pictures were taken that they got from Lori's iCloud account, and also at the entrance of the Yellowstone Park where they came in. October 1st, Lori rents the storage. Okay. October 2nd, now everybody had always said that was Alex, but now with this enhanced video, it really looks to be Chad. October 2nd, Chad and Lori, they drop off the seat and the tire. Now think about it. If they use the Jeep to shoot Brandon that same day, so it means the Jeep would have been in Arizona, but they're in Idaho with the tire and the seat. That means they would have taken the tire out of the Jeep, taken the tire off the Jeep, taken the seat out of the back of the Jeep, because they said he was shot at from the back window of the Jeep. Okay, so that was on October 2nd at 9:30 in the morning. This Jeep was noted to be registered to Charles. So the Jeep, odds are, which makes perfect sense now, this stuff is all making more sense, the Jeep was brought back to Arizona, and whoever was in the back of it needed the room. So the seat was out, and the tire was out so they could shoot out the window. And they said that there is video of this Jeep. That's how they know it's that particular Jeep that belongs to Charles Vallow. It's registered Charles Vallow, right? So on October 3rd, Lori and what appears to be Alex return to the storage, and they take out the tire and the seat again. So now they don't need it anymore, right? Because now the seat and the tire are going to go back in this Jeep, right? October 4th, allegedly, Tammy was urged to go visit her parents on October 4th in Springville. So Tammy Daybell went to Springville, Utah, to visit her parents. And they said she was perfectly healthy that day and fine. On October 6th, Alex's pickup is seen at the storage unit in Rexburg. And then supposedly comes back and forth at least 5 times during the month. On October 9th, Tammy had the incident with the supposed guy with a ski mask and the paintball gun, which we're now beginning to suspect that that probably wasn't a paintball gun, that there was a silencer. So she did report that to the police, and everybody figured it was a hoax. On October 14th, Melanie Bordeaux tells Brandon that she's moving to Idaho and that he can keep the kids, not keep the kids, whatever. Now, yesterday when we did the live, someone mentioned that Chad, FBI came in and got video of Chad purchasing a ski mask and a rope at Capella's. But what if he was returning it? Because that's what I started speculating, and somebody else had mentioned that. What if he was returning the ski mask and rope? Like, you return it, it's not going to be in your possession. Nobody's ever going to find it, right? It goes back on the shelf. What if he wasn't buying it? What if he was returning it? On October 19th, Tammy Daybell supposedly dies in her sleep. Healthy 49-year-old woman dies in her sleep. Now remember, and I'm going to show you that video in a minute, they're now saying the FBI has digital information that can tie Alex to Tammy's possible death. So they must have something. They must have pictures, text messages, emails, something that puts Alex involved in Tammy's death. And there's no autopsy done. The coroner supposedly is an EMT with only a high school degree and decided it was natural causes. There's no medical examination or anything. They released the body and she is buried. And that's it. That was October 22nd. They did her interment. October 23rd, they had a memorial for her, for Tammy. So she was interned on October 22nd. Memorial was on October 23rd. On October 25th, there was a text message to one of Tylee's friends, supposedly from Tylee, but the friend even said it didn't sound like her, the way that the text message was. I'm going to say that was a fake text message from Lori, since she was later found to have the phone and everything with her in Hawaii. I'm going to say it was just a fake text message to one of Tylee's friends just to say, oh yeah, I'm good, whatever. Okay. And then there is this digital evidence, apparently, that they have on Alex that ties him to Tammy Daybell's death. And like Nate says, but we can't ask him because he's dead. But Arizona Family did a little piece on this, and I want you to see that recording. So I'll show you that now. So let's watch this, because this ties into all of that, right? And if we're really thinking about the time frames and all of this, so much of this is beginning to make more and more and more sense. Watch this newscast. More and more and more sense. Watch this newscast.
We are continuing to follow this bizarre, complicated story involving 2 missing children and 3 suspicious deaths. Former Arizona resident Lori Vallow facing charges for abandoning her children, and as of tonight, she still has not posted bond up in Idaho.
Yeah, tonight we dig deeper into the mysterious deaths of Lori's former husband, Charles, her brother, Alex Cox, and her new husband's dead wife, Tammy Daybell. Now, Kim Powell is back from Rexburg, Idaho, with more on this latest development. Kim, what can you tell us?
Well, sources tell CBS News that there may be digital evidence that links Alex Cox to Tammy Daybell's death and Charles Vallow's death. The problem is, Alex died in December before he could be questioned.
My name is Alex. Last name is Cox. C-O-X.
He's been described as the family hitman.
What is the emergency?
I shot my brother-in-law.
Last July, Alex Cox shot Charles Vallow, his sister's husband, in what he claimed as self-defense.
I turned around and he hit me in the back of the head with a bat. So I went to my room and got my gun.
Charles was at Lori Vallow's home picking up his son for school. Lori and Charles were at odds in divorce proceedings. Their Chandler home almost completely empty. Alex told police he was just visiting.
You brought a gun with you?
Yes.
You always bring a gun?
I'm concealed carry always.
Okay.
Just to be safe.
It's not the first time Alex attacked one of his sister's estranged husbands. Court documents from 2007 show Alex threatened to kill Joseph Ryan, which is Tylee's father, while using a stun gun. He was convicted of that crime, and Joseph died of an apparent heart attack in 2018.
That is a 50 caliber semi-automatic.
Shortly after Charles was shot and killed, Lori and her kids, JJ and Tylee, moved to the small town of Rexburg, Idaho. Alex moved into the same complex. On September 8th, Alex is seen with Tylee and JJ at Yellowstone National Park. This is the last known sighting of Tylee. In October, a beloved school librarian named Tammy Daybell mysteriously died in her sleep. Lori married Tammy's widower, Chad Daybell, 2 weeks later.
That's a 50 cal.
And now, sources say there is digital evidence that describes a possible network of foul play. Police say Alex not only killed Charles, but they now believe he may be linked to Tammy Daybell's death. After connecting the missing children and Charles's death, plus a lot of other twists and turns, Tammy's body was exhumed, and autopsy results are pending. Alex, however, died before he could ever be questioned.
Well, he's not breathing.
And Alex's death is under investigation, and we're still waiting for those autopsy results as well. Also new tonight, detectives from Gilbert and Chandler Police Departments confirmed they are heading up to Salt Lake City this week to meet with other agencies who are involved with this case, including the FBI.
So on Friday, when you were in Rexburg, Idaho, the judge lowered the amount that it would take for her to get out. It was $5 million down to $1 million, meaning she'd have to come up with $100,000 to get out of jail. We thought that might happen over the weekend. She's still up there.
Yeah, to be honest, there was a lot of us reporters staking out the jail for quite a few hours because we heard that the ankle monitor was ready for her. But it sounds like the bail bonds companies just aren't able to work with her yet because they don't have any collateral.
And there's so many different agencies in different cities that are kind of involved in
Right.
this.
We have the Rexburg Police Department, we have Madison County Sheriff's Office, the Fremont Sheriff's Office,
Yeah.
you name it.
Yeah.
Folks from Kauai, Gilbert, the federal government, the FBI as well. And real quickly, this is a couple of some means. So in theory, they could come up with $100,000 to get her out, or her husband could,
Yes.
right?
And that was one of the things why they set her bond at $5 million at first, and probably the $1 million as well, is that they believe she's a flight risk because they have enough money to travel, to move somewhere.
Complicated case. Kim Powell, thanks for the update. Appreciate it.
So here's what I'm thinking. Don't forget that Tammy's body was exhumed, right? And don't forget that the day after Tammy's body was exhumed, Alex Cox died. And then there's other stuff in between what we're talking about here and when Alex died, such as Melanie Bordeaux and Ian Pulowski getting married at the same time as Alex and Zulema get married in Las Vegas, the end of November. And then 2 weeks later, Alex is dead the day after Tammy's body's exhumed. So I know we're going to have to keep circling back to all this because more and more stuff keeps happening and we keep finding out more information. To me, this is kind of a big deal, and I think this connects a lot of dots. So I think all the dots are being connected quite clearly, and I would love to take bets because I think Chad's going to be arrested for conspiracy or something very soon. I really wish they could find the kids so we knew exactly what those charges could be for Lori. I'm believing it's going to be difficult to find those kids. I think whatever they did, they went to a pretty vast area, probably Yellowstone or outside of Yellowstone or in that area. But I am telling you, this tire in and out thing and the Jeep that shot Brandon from the back window, so much sense. It makes so much sense. A lot of circumstantial evidence. I'm not a lawyer, but to me, to me, it's speaking kind of volumes, right? Don't you agree? Like, there's a lot going on here all of a sudden. And again, all this stuff keeps coming out and coming out and coming out. Justin Lum did say that Lori Vallow's attorneys officially waive her right to have her hearing within 14 days. We know both parties of prosecution and defense requested the prelim to be moved to May 7th. So there's some paperwork on that. That they want to disqualify Judge Edens. Madison County Prosecuting Attorney Rob Wood objects to disqualifying the judge. So the prosecutor objects to disqualifying the judge that the defense is asking them to disqualify the judge. Wood cites untimely motion because a contested hearing has already been argued. There's some emails that they obtained. Justin Lum obtained Fox 10 emails, basically emails from the FBI via public records request with the city of Chandler. Emails from the FBI via public records request from the city of Chandler. Email chain confirms FBI in Phoenix looked in not only Lori Vallow, but Melanie Gibb and Jason Mao. Intelligence analysts listened to the podcast the trio did together and even quoted Lori Vallow. The email is dated 12/4/2019, just 1 week after the welfare check for JJ Vallow in Rexburg. So that gives us a little hope that they have really been digging into this from the beginning, more than we even could possibly know. So that's pretty cool. And so basically what this email is, and I'll put it up on here, sent Wednesday, December 4th, 2019. Subject was preparing a people, Jason Mao. And it said, I started basic checks on Mao, but didn't get far before I had to leave. I'll dig more in the morning. Blank started looking into some of the info sent over regarding the phone data they got from Melanie's phone. So I think she'll have more for us on that tomorrow. The twists keep coming. I'm in the middle of the podcast from December of 2018 where Lori mentions how suffering leads to salvation and that even though she doesn't want her kids to suffer, she understands they have to in order to see the light. And then there's a response on December 4th, 2019 at 5:11 p.m. Hey, sorry for the delay. Oh my God, we didn't wrap up our section until 2:30. So per PPD, Homicide Sergeant Richard Mao did work there, but not for a long time. His full name per their records is Richard Jason Mao. And his most recent address says Chandler, Arizona. Separation in Chandler, Arizona. Separation in 7/1/2017. Victim 2011 assault possibly. So this is like the FBI looking into all this stuff and these people. Mao, Lori, Melanie. Sounds like Homicide Sergeant is familiar with him because he was sleeping in the front seat of his car while he was supposed to be doing security for them as they were executing a search warrant. Oh, Jason Mao is a good police officer. I'm calling blank now to discuss over the phone before start putting anything to the group as a whole. PPD will help with whatever on this. And he says, do you mind looking into him a bit further? If you weren't already. Dumb question, I'm sure. LOL. Thank you. So this is all inter-department talk back and forth back in December about Lori and suspicions soon after they decided that these kids were, where are the children? Hashtag, where are the kids? They were already on it, which gives me a lot of hope on the outcome of this. But it just says, regarding the earlier phone conversation on 12/4/2018, Lori Vallow and Melanie Gibb did a podcast with Jason Mao. This is Lori's first podcast. Jason explains how the three of them came to be on the podcast together and said that he met Lori at Temple and they had an instant connection. He knew she was a gatherer. These people are just so smart. They figure out all this stuff, but I'm hoping they're not smart at all. So far, law enforcement has to get a lot of ducks in the row to make sure they go down for good. And I'm thinking and having more and more hope every day that that's what's going on. He knew she was a gatherer. Oh, you're a gatherer. You're awesome. Oh, I'm a gatherer. Oh, I'm a gatherer. They said I was a gatherer. Sorry, I had to make fun of that. She was a gatherer and had to connect her with Melanie Gibb. Mal told a story of how he came to believe in God and to the life he lives today. In the story, he said he was a retired Phoenix Police Department officer and retired in 2017. He talks about working in South Phoenix and was in a fight with a suspect, date unknown, where he was seriously injured, detached hamstrings from his pelvis. Let me know if you have any questions or need anything additional. Sincerely. So this is just FBI, I guess it was filed, and Justin Lum was able to get a hold of these and share them with us. Okay, so don't forget you can follow us on Facebook. We now have a Facebook group. It is Left Undone. You can follow us there, link below. And also Patreon membership. I am going to begin a Patreon membership with Collins. And if you are a $10 a month Patreon member, you will be able to call in during a live and talk about it with us. So I was going to open that up to everybody, but I think it'd be better if we start at least with people that are Patreons. So if you want to go on to my Patreon and join, the link is below. And if you want to become a $10 member, we're going to say $10 member, then you will be able to have the opportunity to call in to our lives and talk on the air. Also, you can donate if you'd like through PayPal. It is also linked below. Another way you can help is just watch the ads as they go by, because that makes a difference. And I'm really trying not to have the non-skippable ads because I know that they can be long. But, watch some of the skippable ads. That helps too if you can't donate. Again, I'm just trying to keep my channel running. I'm doing this no matter what, but there are expenses involved and your support really helps a lot. Thank you. And my moderators are great. I would love to throw them a little gift card or something for helping us out. So thank you so much, and I will talk to you again soon. This has been an episode of Left Undone, Incomplete Investigations, and I'm Catherine.